Yeah.
Oh man, I missed that. Let's
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Welcome back to another Last Call podcast. Thank you very much for joining us.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Oh shit, I got the thing playing in the background.
I was like, what is that happening in the background?
I was like, how is that happening?
Are there other people at Mikey's house?
It's like, that sounds exactly like me. So yeah, that would be the live video playing in the background. So that's good.
I love your anti-Penguins Stanley Cup in the background.
Oh yeah, that was part of our Halloween costume.
I was about to say, did you like manually? Did you use actual spray paint?
Yes.
So was that originally a Penguins themed Stanley Cup, inflatable Stanley Cup?
Yeah.
And then
they didn't have any of the Caps ones available, so we got that, and then I fixed it. But
I'm sure Wifey T was thrilled.
It was actually her idea.
Wow.
Because I mean, she's a Caps fan first. I mean, she's from Pittsburgh, so that's like her secondary team, which is bullshit. But we'll allow it, I guess.
I used to have an argument with a guy that I went to school with, and he had a really specific set of rules that dictated who you could and couldn't be a fan of. Like, okay, you're allowed to be a fan of this team if you're grew up in that state or you grew up in an adjacent state which didn't have a team. You know what I mean? So like you could be an Orioles fan if you grew up in Virginia, because Virginia doesn't have a baseball team. So you could adopt the Orioles and that was fine. But you had to go with the closest team geographically. So you couldn't grow up outside of Pittsburgh and be a Philadelphia Eagles fan. The other way that you could become a team, be a fan of a team, is by where college is concerned, going to school there. And then you could also get like parental inheritance rights, right? Like your dad and your grandfather were both Red Sox fans.
What the fuck are you talking
about? Even though you grew up in, Arkansas, you could be a Red Sox fan because your dad was a Red Sox fan. You had all these really specific rules about how you could and couldn't become a fan of a team.
That seems like way too much effort.
And then over the years, we talked about like what would make you eligible for, say, like transfer rights. So like, how long did your team have to be total dog shit before you were allowed to bail? Like, like if you're a Redskins fan at this point, or like you're a Browns fan, like it's okay to bail, right? But then we got into the debate, like who were you allowed to bail to? And my argument was always, you could bail to anybody who hasn't won like a championship in the last 5 years or 10 years. So like, you can't just become a fucking Boston fan of anything at this point. But you could pick anybody who doesn't have a recent championship. So we used to argue about that stuff all the time.
It kind of makes sense, but I mean, that's way too much thinking.
I'm fucking tired of every asshole who was alive from 1992 to 1995 being a Cowboys fan for no fucking reason. Like, look, I get it. They were good fucking 20 years ago, but you don't still need to be a fucking Cowboys fan about it. Like, it's super fucking annoying. And how the world is full of Steelers and Patriots fans at this point. The Patriots play in a city that has like 14,000 people, and all of the fucking whole world's a goddamn Patriots fan. It drives me batshit insane.
Those people are the worst. Like any of the bandwagon that don't want to admit that they're bandwagon. Like if you're a bandwagon fan, fine, be that. But Jesus Christ, own up to it.
Yo, no. Like, I always been a Patriots fan, but like, I didn't really get into it. My dad was a Patriots. He grew up, 400 or 500 miles outside of Boston, but like, he's always been a Patriot. So I was always a Patriots fan. Brady's the best.
It's like wherever the winds are, that's where you spotted my airplane bottle of
I cannot believe. I'm sad that that's a thing. I mean, I love Fireball, but like fucking airplane. Oh my god.
I feel so dainty. Oh no, it's not going to quite fit.
Oh, it's gonna exactly do it. That's yeah, that's pretty goddamn close.
But yeah, cheers
to Tom Brady.
This was donated to us because they're like, you guys like whiskey? I was like, I don't know if that counts as whiskey, but I'll drink it. Ugh. Hey, it beats that fake Fireball, so I'll take that.
Oh yeah, it's not Red Hen.
But anyway, we wanted to get into voting. I left the option out there for anybody to pop in and tell us when to drink. Of course, we'll do it anyway, but we'll see if anybody pops in and gives us a encouragement.
I remember this as the 2-year anniversary of the night. I remember saying things like, oh, it's still early. Like, it'll swing back the other way once the West Coast votes come in. Or, no. Everybody predicted this would happen. Don't worry. We're going to wake up in the morning and it's going to swung back the other way.
It's all your fault.
Boy, was I fucking wrong.
That's what I mean. Who knows what's going to happen? I mean, locally, Maryland's a clusterfuck. So, I mean, it could go any way. I mean, we could have a new governor. We could everything's up for grabs.
Is it really like? Do they really think like Hogan might get ousted?
I mean, Maryland's such a blue state that even though most people like Hogan, so many Democrats are anti-Trump that they're just lumping him in.
Yeah, it's all a referendum on the president. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, I thought Hogan was pretty universally agreed on. I thought his job was pretty safe at this point, but I guess no one with an R next to their name on the ticket, their job is safe. But on the other hand, you know, who knows? We could wake up, the whole goddamn country could be red in the morning. Like,
don't you say anything.
Yeah, I'm never gonna fucking underestimate anything ever again.
I don't want any side, either side, to have complete power, because that's just I mean, the fact that they constantly bicker and never accomplish anything is the only thing that saves us from everything getting totally fucked.
That's a good point.
So, I mean, take the bad with the good or something.
I will say this. So I did go to vote today. It was a weird experience. Like, I tried to, like, my address doesn't show up like on the voting roster. I was pretty sure that I was going to get like kicked out of the building, but like I show up to vote and like I tried to go in and do my research. I tried to go in and say, you know, okay, so here are the districts I have to vote on, and we're voting on a governor as well, and stuff like that. So I tried to go in, and there's a couple of ballot issues that were on there. So I tried to go in and do my research on those. And what I failed to do my research on was like, there's like 12 like judgeships that I'm supposed to fucking vote on. Why are we doing that? Why are we like, the average American can barely be bothered to get off their ass and vote for the president, let alone like the 9th district judge or like the county treasurer? Like, why? Just make these appointed positions. Like, you don't need to have 20 things on the ballot. Who is the person? Who is the person that's like, I gotta hop onto the web and study up on my 9th district circuit court judge election?
It's mainly just the loony bin people on either side just voting their preferred color. So
yeah, but the judges don't even get marked Republican or Democrat. So you can't you can't, unless you memorize the names and like what they're kind of sort of affiliated with, you know, like you can't do that. I'm with you. Like all of the like the county like treasurer and all that kind of shit. Yeah, that's just people just voting whatever color. But fucking judges, I'm not qualified to vote for judges.
To be fair, most of the people in office aren't very qualified to do any of that either. So I guess it could go either way. Who cares?
That's a fair point.
So I did not vote, but not because I didn't want to. I just too much shit going on today. You know, got this important thing to take care of.
Yeah, well, you could have voted. You could have voted right now anyway. If you could have gone out at 9:30 and voted, then you know. I give you a bunch of shit about it, but this is after hours.
Yeah. It's like also it's like while I have opinions on all that stuff, I don't have strong enough opinions where it's like I feel like I missed out because I didn't get a chance to vote. So
right.
It's
so I've kind of like it's kind of weird. So I moved to Ohio last year, and like I like guns. I like shooting. Like that's fun for me. I don't get to do it very often because I just a man can only have so many hobbies and do so many things. But it's something I like to do. And so like a lot of times, like I'll take the day off on my birthday and I'll just be by myself for the day. And one of the things I like to go do is I'll go shoot. And so I did that on my birthday, a couple days after my birthday, a couple weeks ago. And I went to the range and I, fired off a bunch of rounds, and it was a good time, and rented a gun, and it was fun. And then I saw like the sign on the way out, and I'd seen it there before, and I was like, in Ohio, it's like super easy to get your concealed carry license. So basically it's like an 8-hour class. Like you show up, like you go to class, you take what I assume is a rudimentary test. You do a shooting test, which again, I think is probably pretty rudimentary. And then you submit your paperwork to the sheriff's office and they give you a license to carry a gun under your shirt. Open carry is unrestricted. As long as you're like not into school, like you could just carry a gun on your hip. I think it's probably pretty inappropriate, but it is unrestricted. So I was like, that sounds like fun. Why not? Like, it's not expensive. Like, I don't see myself carrying a gun every day, but it's cool to have the option, right? So I
imagine you out there with like 2 sidearms with bandoliers across your chest. Like,
that's a great question. I wonder, can you open carry 2 guns, or is it limited to 1?
Is it types? I don't know the rules. I'm sure it varies state to state, but I mean,
I don't know. I've seen people like open carrying like rifles, like AR-15 style rifles, like on their back. I think it depends on the state, but you're right. That'd be awesome if I could just like Mad Dog McCree it, just like fucking 2 guns on each side, like fucking bandolier. That's a great question. So I signed up for the class. It's not until like after Thanksgiving, so I've got a few weeks to wait. So in the meantime, I jumped into the YouTube rabbit hole, right? And I started like watching all these videos about, concealed carry and just guns in general. And I kind of fell down that hole. And it's weird. Like I feel like a spy because like I'm a pretty left wing, I'm a pretty kind of bleeding heart liberal. So like to watch all these videos and to like hear all these opinions from these guys like way on the other side, and like this shit like bleeds in, right? Like these people are all like big Trump people, they're big Republican people, and that shit like bleeds out. Like they talk trash about liberals and shit like that. And I'm just like, hey guys, like you're hurting my feelings.
You better go to your safe space.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hey guys, I'm right here. I'm giving you views and likes and shit like that. And like you're talking shit. Like it's super weird. So it's weird to be like buried in that culture on the other side of the people who are like super intense about guns and the carrying of them. It's real weird.
Well, that's terrifying about the whole. Just the tribalistic nature of politics, where people just pick a side and then that's their team, and they won't give that up for anything. I mean, it's like a religion at that point.
Yep.
And where it's the problem is the people on either side that go to those extremes, and there's no logic there. It's my side or nothing, and you never accomplish anything. No matter which side of crazy you're on, it's fucking crazy. So
I tried to listen to an interview the other day. He's a guy whose videos I've watched. He's like sort of sponsored by the NRA. He goes by the name Colion Noir. He's a kind of young black guy who's this NRA spokesman. So the whole thing's kind of weird. But he's really well spoken. He's a funny guy. Like I like his videos, and he went on Joe Rogan's show, and I was like, I like Joe Rogan. I like Colion Noir. and I listened to it for like 15 minutes, and I was fucking exhausted by the debate about guns and framing and statistics. And I was like, I am fucking done with this. So I have no idea what they talked about for the most part.
I think I saw bits and pieces of that episode. I can't do Joe Rogan's podcast because it's like a short one is 2.5 hours. And
yeah. Oh yeah.
Like 4 hours. So I subscribe to their clip channel on YouTube, and I just catch little 5 to 15 minute clips, and it's like I figure that gives me a good idea of whatever they talked about.
Rogan's good for me because, like, yeah, his podcasts are like 2 or 3 hours. So, like, I'll pick one that like has somebody on that I really like, and I can put it on like to and from work. And if I like zone out and think about work for 10 minutes, like I haven't missed anything. Like I don't need to rewind it or anything like that. The other thing I do is like I do like a lot of audiobooks. And if I like zone out of an audiobook for 10 minutes and then like I realize what I've done, I'm like, fuck, now I've got to go back like 8 minutes and figure out where I was. And it's a huge problem. So that's how I get exposed to a lot of Joe Rogan.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, that's how I consume most of my media.
Speaking of Joe Rogan, so a paper was published by a Harvard professor earlier this week. There is an object that is floating through our solar system at a fairly high rate of speed. It is called, it has a really weird name. It is called Oumuamua because it was first seen by a telescope in Hawaii. And I'm trying to figure out how big it is. I want to say like small city. It's fairly big. It's shaped like a cigar, which most things we've never seen an asteroid that's shaped like that. It's going through our solar system a little bit faster than they think it should. It's shaped like a cigar, which we've never really seen anything on our solar system that's shaped like that. It's dark red and it's traveling at 200,000 miles per hour. And this Harvard team came out and said, among other things, they said it is possible that this is an object with an artificial origin. It's possible that it may be a probe that was sent from elsewhere to go through this system that Earth exists in to kind of take a look. Or it could be something that was out there floating using, solar sails, something like that, that has since gone dead and has just been floating through the galaxy for, unknown amounts of time. So it's a little bit clickbaity to say a Harvard team says object is alien in origin, but they did come out and say that, maybe these, who knows?
The picture, it looks like a giant space turd.
That's true. Like
this weird log just kind of chilling out in space.
Yeah, it absolutely does. I was trying to figure out how big. I can't see what it is, but I think we've talked about this once before. Do you believe in any way, shape, or form that civilization has had any contact with any sort of alien craft, communication signal, anything like that? Anybody on Earth heard or seen anything from an alien?
Contact? No, I don't think so. But I think there's a pretty good chance that, there's life out there in the universe. I mean, probability speaking, I feel like it'd be disingenuous to say that there isn't the chance. I mean, the universe is effectively infinite as far as we can tell. So, I mean, what all these other planets, we have planets in our solar system that are, potentially life sustaining. So there could be life out there. I don't think that bumfuck drunk dude in Arkansas or whatever that got his butt plugged is truly being contacted by extraterrestrials, but life could be out there.
Right, like that was the fucking guy, like Teddy from fucking Arkansas.
Well, that's why is no one
time in 1978?
Why is no one intelligent ever contacted by these intelligent beings?
Yeah,
it's always some fucktard in Middle America saying he has a chip in his anus. No, dude, you just got drunk and had too much fun with your friends. Like, chill the fuck out. Stop speculating about the universe that is way outside of your scope.
Just making elaborate excuses as to why he has foreign objects in his ass.
Yeah. Like, no, I swear. It was the aliens.
I would never put that there. You know how straight I am? Look, I was there was a lot. I was strapped down to a table. There was a bunch of hands. They were green hands.
I seen it. They were everywhere. They were all up in my nether regions.
They said, we're going to put this probe inside of you and we're going to send you back to Earth. Now, if any of you tell anybody on Earth about this and they look at it, they're just going to think it's a normal butt plug that you buy from Stacy's shop down on the corner. But it's not a normal butt plug. It is a sophisticated alien probe that you cannot detect with your Earth technology.
They told me all about it. God, this world is so stupid. So I went for a job training to, because I'm forever trying to move my way out of the restaurant industry because it's hard to keep that the schedule of drinking and sleeping all day.
Yeah.
So I went for training for a day job, so I had to be there at 9 in the morning and everything. So on the first day, people that went through the same screening and initial background check and all that stuff that I did have shown up. It looked like, have you ever seen a bus stop late at night? Like, a bus stop in general tends to be pretty rough looking. I'm not talking, like New York, like or DC, like everyone uses public transit, but like Baltimore, public transit is not particularly good. So it's like most of the people that use it's because they've made poor life decisions and they don't have any other option. So at night, it gets a lot worse. So there's a few bus stops that make it almost all the way to here near my house. So it's like it's a shit show. It's like people at Walmart mixed with like, I don't know, something else equally horrible.
Your clarity here is staggering. Not just a bus stop, but like a bus depot in like a second tier city like Pittsburgh late at night. You're absolutely right. It is literally hell, and it is literally filled with the worst members of society.
That is what. So that it for this was a temp position, so they're bringing on a lot of people.
Temp position for a crack dealer.
Yeah. So, but hopefully, you do a good enough job, you get pulled on, and
just for the holidays, just for the holiday rush.
Yeah, the Black Friday crack deals.
Right.
No, but I mean, I showed up. They even tell you in the emails that business casual. I was like, okay, so I wore like more casual dress shoes, some khakis, like a polo shirt and everything. There was a woman there that had those like leg warmer things. They're like giant socks, but with like fur on them. It looked like something you wear at a rave.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Those are like a thing now. Like the leg fur. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there was a woman in bright pink leg fur. There was another woman when she had her picture taken for her clearance badge. She couldn't take her hat off because that was just how her hair was done that day. And she had like a hat with like rhinestones and like studs and stuff on it. It was very odd. It looked like a Hot Topic and Claire's had an illegitimate love child. But I was just amazed. Like, you're here for a job and you're showing up. You not only did you put minimal effort, it's almost like you put in extra effort to look like you shouldn't be hired. And then, so I've done like a week of training for this job, and it's like, basic phones, that sort of thing. The computer system is simple, but it's like a lot of just learning the processes of the computer. It's like if you were learning Excel or Word or something for the first time. You wouldn't be proficient at it, but it's pretty straightforward.
Yep.
The first day I had to show 3 people how to log into Windows. I showed 2 other people how to plug in their headset. Multiple times we've had, it's been a week. Multiple times I've had to show people how to open the programs that we need to do the job. And it's not like, the training's not intense, but it's 6 hours a day for a week or for a business week. You should know how to open a program in Windows by the end of that.
6 hours a day for 5 days?
Yeah.
That is so much training.
There's still another week.
Oh my God. For 2 weeks. Wow.
And I think it's necessary to do the job well. They had to split up some of it. So there was a group of like 10 of us that got moved up to a separate room to kind of work on our own. Because they quote unquote said we looked bored. So I guess they at least split it up a little bit so that I can try to learn the program properly instead of waiting for people who can't turn on their monitor.
Hanging out with the fucking remedials.
But what's the saying? Dress for the job you want, not the job you have, or something. I don't know what job that bitch wanted with the furry legs, but more power to her. It wasn't this one, I don't think. But
so it's funny that happened to you. So last week on Halloween, so I work in an environment that's not like conducive to people dressing in costumes, right? Like it's not. Nobody thought we were going to wear costumes that day. Nobody wore a costume. Like it wasn't an issue.
Please tell me one person wore like a totally outlandish costume.
That would be fucking amazing if that's what happened. I would have applauded that person and taken them out to lunch. But no, that is not what happened. What happened was worse for me, like as the manager. So first thing in the morning, I get in the door. The operation starts really early in the day. So I get in after things have been rolling for a couple hours. And I get in, and one of my supervisors comes to me, and he's like, hey, one of our guys who is from another country originally, he moved here several years ago. He speaks English, but there's still clearly a cultural barrier there. Like we have to have some like talks with him about like just culture barrier stuff. And so he comes to me and he closes the door to the office. He's like, hey, this guy who we have to have talks with occasionally, he went up to the girl who is the temp we hired last week and asked her if she was dressed for Halloween. She's not dressed for Halloween.
So was this a mistake that somebody could logically make?
So I'm like, oh my God, like this guy has, oh God, I'm so like every week we have to talk to him about something. You can't say this shit to people. What the fuck? Like I'm really upset and he's upset. And now we're talking, we got to figure out how to frame this. Like it's an honest mistake. I think he was just trying to like engage her in conversation. He wasn't trying to make fun of her. I was like, okay, look, what's she wearing? And he's like, you know what? She is like, we didn't get her uniforms yet. So like she wore like a red jacket and she's wearing like a red, like a bowler hat today. And I was like, what? And I was like, a red bowler hat? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like fucking Carmen Sandiego. And the guy who works for me is under 30. So I don't think he got the Carmen Sandiego reference, but I was like, what? Like what? Okay, that seems a little weird. I guess let's look into this and then we'll talk to him this afternoon.
How depressing was that moment when he didn't realize what
It
Carmen
happens to me a lot at this point. I work with a lot of younger people. I make references and people just stare at me blankly like, yeah, okay, boss. Yeah, totally. Yeah, you're not fucking old as shit. So so the rest of the day goes by, and then like maybe 2 o'clock comes around, and I round the corner and I see her sitting there, and I run into the office and I look at the other manager. I'm like, she fucking looks like Carmen Sandiego. Do not talk to the guy about that. He made an honest fucking mistake. She is wearing something super weird to come into work on Halloween. Not his fault. It's like a red felt hat with like a huge like yellow bow on it. Like, I'm like, holy shit, that is an aggressive outfit for a work day.
So wait, did she complain that the guy asked, or how did it make it to you?
I think she complained to someone and it made its way around back to me. So yeah, no, I let it go. I was like, I'm not gonna have a counseling session with somebody because he made a mistake. It's not worth it.
Where in the world is that temp we did?
God, I wish I'd said that. That'd have been
perfect. No one would have got it, and that would have been the perfect production.
I work with a handful of people who are over 30 at this point that might have thought it was funny. But yeah.
The whole point is that no one would think it was funny, and you could get away with it,
except for me. Yeah. Hey, you got to reset your camera.
Oh, it's that time.
It's that time.
It's kind of nice not having to run across the room to do it.
Yeah, over cords and cables and not knock down lights.
Crazy world. So of course I missed Halloween because I'd started the training late, so I was in the night class, and that's where some of the worst offenders were. But that was the other thing about it, was that at the end of the day, when 60 people like got ready to leave, like training's over and everything, I think there were 2 cars other than mine that like drove out of the parking lot. So everyone else, I presumably lived in town somewhere, or really did take the bus there. And I was like, oh, well.
Went out to the bus station outside.
So I guess I was generalizing, but I was also correct. But on the topic of Halloween, of course, the trend in women's costumes is always, slutty nurse, slutty maid. Like that's, the younger generations always, that's their go-to as far as what they're doing for Halloween. And I gave a bunch of people shit at Nottingham's because they just gave up on the whole theme thing. I wasn't there Halloween, but it's like, I saw some pictures and I'm like, you guys weren't slutty anything. You just dressed as sluts. Like, I mean, it was like half of the girls were just in underwear.
Which is a great idea, and I applaud their ingenuity. How about you get up out of their shit and let them do their thing?
Hey, more power to them. Let them do their thing, but
let's just let go of this like pretense that everybody's got to be like slutty Dora the Explorer and just be slutty. Just like go all the way. Do it.
Yeah, it's like, let's just simplify it. Take it one more step. You got to at least have the cat ear thing, the cat ear headband. That's
cat ear headband and lingerie. That's like an acceptable costume.
Yeah. Now, slutty kitten.
I'm so jealous of you that you still get like exposure to that. I don't like.
Hey, just remember that it doesn't mean you want to see all of those people in said underwear.
That's a good point. It's a good point.
Everyone's always praising yoga pants. It's a privilege. But it can go so wrong.
That knife cuts both ways.
Exactly. That's not something you want to mess with. I mean,
I spent my Halloween sitting on my stairs waiting for the doorbell to ring every 45 seconds or so. We probably had 200 trick or treaters. And it was just a never ending avalanche of kids just coming. And like, I'm such a fucking old man at this point. And I'm just like, I try to identify the kids who have worn these, like, there are kids that are princesses and baseball players and ninjas and doctors, and like everybody's going to get that stuff. But like the kid who dresses up as like Winston from Overwatch, like the number of adults who are going to get that, you know what I mean, is pretty limited. So I try to look for those kids and be like, hey, fucking, my favorite was last year was the like 11-year-old dressed as Rick from Rick and Morty. I'm like, hey, it's Rick. He's like, oh, thank God. Everybody just thinks I'm a scientist. I'm like, nah, man, I get it. Fucking.
I feel like Rick and Morty is pretty much like pop culture gold right now. Like,
it totally is, but I live in a neighborhood full of like, hoity-toity. The average age is a little bit older than me. Not all of them, but the average skews a little older. And you don't have to be that much older than we are to not know who Rick and Morty is, right? Like, at least not to the point where like you'd recognize a kid in a lab coat with a little bit of like green slime in his mouth and be like, it's fucking Rick from Rick and Morty. You know what I mean? So I try to look out for those kids to try and like make their night. But like on the flip side of the coin, I so resent the like 15-year-olds who like show up in their baseball uniform. And I'm like, motherfucker, I'm low on candy as it is. I don't want to give you shit.
Baseball uniform, I'm okay with.
But if you wore it to practice that afternoon and then just fucking went out trick-or-treating and like, fuck you. You didn't put any ingenuity into that.
I just need a costume.
That's not a costume. That's a thing you already own that you wore to 100 games over the summer, and it says the name of your high school on it. That's not a costume.
They're wearing something.
That's putting on a different shirt.
What if it was a slutty baseball player? Would that be okay?
Different. Halter top baseball uniform. Now we're talking.
That sounds terrifying.
But yeah, I'm a fucking million years old now.
Those moments where you're just like, fuck, I'm old. It's upsetting.
And I am starting to lose like the grip on the costumes. Like I was disappointed in myself. Like there was a kid who came and like he looked sort of familiar, but I didn't get it. I was like, sorry, man, what are you? He's like, do you know the game Fortnite? And I was like, I mean, kind of. He's like, I'm the Black Knight. I'm like, yeah, great. I don't fucking know what that is. Like, too old for Fortnite.
The only thing I know is that like big pink bear.
No, this is like a Black Knight, like a technological looking Black Knight, which is fine. I'm sure everything's fine. I'm sure if I was, younger, I would dig it. I don't hate Fortnite. I'm not one of those guys who's like, fuck Fortnite. I'm too old for it. Like I can't get down with any of this battle royale stuff. Like I wish I could. I don't have the time to get good enough at it to where like I'd beat 99 other guys at anything.
Well, so we'll go back on the gaming dads again.
Can we drink more? Because I feel bad about myself.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime. Since all my lazy friends are
cheers
too busy to switch over and tell us to. So on gaming dads, so we've talked about it before, the group on Facebook, where the only thing that connects everybody is that they're dads and they're into gaming. And almost everyone in that group looks exactly how you would expect someone in that group to look.
Staggering.
And the hills that they choose to die on are just absurd. I mean, they have got into the dumbest pissing matches over Xbox versus PS4 versus PC, Fortnite versus PUBG, and then don't even bring up mobile gaming or everyone will shit their pants. And I understand to a degree, but I mean, they live for that shit. It's the religion for them. That's their politics. Is Team Xbox, Team PS4, or whatever. It's stupid.
It's super weird, man. Like I love that group. I love being a part of it. I love that it pops up in my feed. It is really refreshing for me to see a whole bunch of other people who have this kind of similar like problem that I have, right? Where like it's like I love games, I love gaming, but I don't have the time to do it. Like I'm focused on all these other things, but at my core, I'm still kind of a game fan, even though I can't connect with it in the same way that teenagers and 20 something get to. So like I love it, but like it's filled with actual retarded people.
No disrespect to actual retarded people.
That's true. That's a good point. It is.
We've talked about this, Tristan. You can't say that word anymore.
No, you can't say retard. I didn't say it was full of retards. I said it was full of actual retarded people, which is a semi-factual statement.
You might actually be right.
I mean, maybe they won't like hit the diagnostic level for retarded, but like they're definitely slower than. And what drives me fucking insane is when like somebody posted something earlier today and it was like, I've been thinking about getting Red Dead 2 or Spider-Man, what y'all think. And like literally not a single word was spelled right. There's no capital letters. There's no punctuation at the end. It is spelled like a child would write this, and like nobody says anything about it. And there's 45 comments, and I don't want to be the guy who's like, nobody's gonna fucking talk about how this guy just wrote this at a second grade reading level. Like my 6-year-old son would look at this post and be embarrassed by the grammatical expertise on display here. Nobody's gonna fucking say a thing about it. All right, fine. I'll just fucking keep scrolling. Fuck you guys.
Stupid is surprisingly acceptable in this world.
Yeah. And that drives me insane. You answer literally 3 questions to get into that group, and one of them is like, you promise not to start like a console bashing session, and that's all that goes on in there. It drives me nuts.
And there's never any like points. It's just like politics. It's opinions with no facts and people yelling at each other. And probably once a month, something blows up so bad that the mods have to have this big post just saying, we can't believe this happened again. It's motherfuckers, you got 16,000 random people from around the world. They are not going to agree on shit. And like I always say, think of the average person you see every day and remember that half of the people in the world are dumber than that.
I'm going to be totally honest. So like the week that Spider-Man came out on PS4 was like one of the worst weeks because like I would love to play Spider-Man. Like great exclusive grab for Sony. Sony is killing it in the exclusive game these days. I have no answer for that. I wish I could afford to own both, but I cannot afford to spend a combined $800 plus games on systems. Like I just can't. I don't play enough games to be able to do that. So I just got to fucking let it go. But my entire feed for the entire week that Spider-Man came out was dudes just fucking jerking themselves off over like, fucking Xbox owners suck a dick. You guys don't get to play Spider-Man. Bet you wish you'd gotten on this fucking Sony train, faggots. Like I can't. Like I couldn't. The whole week it was so bad.
And the thing is, most of these people, I'm like, if only you put as much effort into your children as you do into bashing people on the internet, they might not turn out fucking retarded like you did.
No.
Again, no disrespect to the actual mentally handicapped. Cheers to...
Fucking cheers to fucking gaming dads. Jesus Christ. What a weird love-hate relationship I have with that place.
And oh God, that was a terrible plan. I poured our favorite plastic vodka.
I saw that.
Into the shot glass that I had the Fireball in.
Oh no! Fuck
So
no!
it tasted like cinnamon, like what's that shitty flavored soda, LaCroix.
There you go. Oh yeah, LaCroix.
Yeah, so it's it's like if LaCroix made Fireball.
It's just like the world's shittiest. Like it's like it's a hint of Fireball, a hint of cinnamon whiskey. That's gross.
There are a few things on the internet that I will laugh at every time, no matter what. And Twitter's explanations of what LaCroix tastes like is one of those. It's like LaCroix tastes like if someone else ate a fruit salad and then burped into your mouth.
It's gross.
I don't know why that's the funniest shit in the world to me. But that's like somebody just burped Fireball at me.
Oh, I wanted to mention this, and I want to talk about it before we get too far away from it. So before Halloween, a couple weeks before Halloween, Susan and I live in Northeast Ohio at this point, and we are lucky enough to be about an hour and a half from one of the biggest major amusement parks in the country, Cedar Point, right? One of the biggest roller coaster parks in the country. People come from all over to ride there. So we're lucky enough to be pretty close there. We went several times over the summer, and my folks came into town and they said they'd watch the kids for the evening, and we were going to go out, grab dinner or something like that. And then we got this crazy plan. We're like, let's go to Cedar Point for the evening. It'll be fun. It's an hour and a half drive. We'll go there. We'll hang out there for 6 hours, and then, and then grab a hotel afterwards and come back in the morning. So we went out and we did that. So we went out, and it turns out it was 2 weeks before Halloween. And so they were in the middle of their Halloween celebration in October. So they set up a dozen different or 24 different haunted houses and haunted areas and stuff like that where you can go to. Really well done. A really fun Halloween celebration.
So real quick, so Cedar Point, that it's a grander scale than Six Flags or something here, right? Or
real estate wise, it's probably a little bigger. But it has they have always been on the cutting edge of roller coasters.
Oh, okay.
And so they are known to be one of the big roller coaster parks in the world. So they have this fucking roller coaster. I forget what it's called. Fast lane, top speed, top lane, something like that. Anyway, the whole thing mimics a top speed dragster. So they load everybody into the roller coaster cart, and then they strap them all in, and then they bring this thing out onto the track, which is perfectly flat with a what we'd call in drag racing a Christmas tree, right? The red, yellow, green lights. And over a big speaker, the sound of roaring engines plays while the cart sits perfectly still. And then the Christmas tree goes red, yellow, green, and they accelerate this car to 120 miles an hour in 3 seconds using magnetic acceleration. So they fucking fire this thing like a bullet. And then it immediately takes off 90 degrees up into the air and spins around in a circle, goes up into a hoop for almost 450 feet in the air, goes up in a perfect hoop, comes down spiraling the other side, then comes back down and slams on the brake in the other end. So the whole thing's like a big U-turn at 120 miles an hour, 400 feet in the air. So that's the kind of shit they do at Cedar Point.
Fuck that.
Yeah, it looks terrifying. The first time I saw it go off and I saw them fire those people into the air, spinning around into a loop, I looked at it and the words that came out of my mouth, I was like, you can't do that to people. You can't.
You haven't done it?
No, we haven't. So the lines for that are typically 2 hours. It is typically a 2-hour line. We went twice.
Never do it then.
Right. Yeah. So you can either and that's kind of where I'm getting to. So you can either wait 2 hours to get on that, as well as the other like major. There's probably out of 4 or 5 other major coasters that are their big attractions at any given time, with 2 to 3 hour waits for each of them. Or you can pay for their fast pass, which is like $150 for the day. Like it is crazy expensive. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So there's like, it's like, I want to say it's $100 for the fast pass for almost everything. But if you want fast pass for the big boys, I think it's $130 or $150. It's in that rate per person.
Oh, hell no.
I could see you almost had an aneurysm there just thinking that like people are paying that kind of money.
But then at the same time, I'm equally bothered by the idea of sitting in line for 3 hours.
Yeah, so that is designed for people who want to be able to do everything in one day. So the only way that you could do all of the big coasters and any of the other rides that are there is to pay them. So I think I forget what an entry ticket costs in real life, like $40 or something. Is to essentially pay them $40 to get in and then $150 for the fast pass. And then you can do all 6 big coasters in a day, plus probably some other stuff. So if you're like a roller coaster head, that's probably a good value. But if you're just people like us, that's crazy. So no, I've never done any of the big boys. It's, but we did their haunted houses. Like they've got like 6 like actual haunted houses where like you go through. Have you ever done the stuff that's local there in Maryland? They had one at Arundel Mills. I can't remember the name of it. Have you ever been to any haunted houses down there?
Yeah, I did one that's out in, I think it's like Sykesville or maybe Western Maryland. I don't know, but it's
the outdoor one where like you go through like the outdoor woods and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's basically like 6 of those set up in indoor areas, which were really cool. They're really well designed. They're fucking horrifying. I took my 6-year-old son through one, and I was like, I've made a huge mistake. Like this is way too violent for him. And I think like it was a zombie high school, right? Like it was like yeah, exactly. And he's like, I really want to do it. I'm like, buddy, I think it's gonna be really scary. Like, are you sure you want to do this? He's like, yeah, I want to do it. I'm like, all right. We get like 20 feet in. I'm like, I've made a huge fucking mistake. Like there's like a fucking skull hanging from the wall with like blood coming from it. I'm like, this is a terrible idea. I think his brain went into like trauma mode where he like blocked it all out. So like the first like scary monster came out and yelled in his face. It was like, where's your homework? Like it was like a funny like high school themed joke. So every time a monster zombie came out to scare him again, he looked in the eye and said, where's your homework? And I thought that was fucking hilarious.
That's awesome.
But that was a long way to get back to. So when Susan and I were there, we got their like Halloween thing. We went to all the haunted houses. They have a thing that they sell where if you don't want to be scared by any of the like monsters or zombies that like lurk around the park and like sneak out and fucking scare you from around corners and shit like that, they will sell you a glowing necklace for $20. Like a pink glowing necklace that says, don't scare me.
It even says it?
No, it doesn't say it. It's like its whole purpose in life is don't scare me. So if you buy this like don't scare me pink bat necklace, it tells the performers like leave this person alone. But that's the only way to be left alone in the park is to shell out the fucking $20 for this necklace so they don't jump out and scare the balls off you.
That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
It's like the first time I saw it, I was like, that seems really like exploitive. I don't know. We were there with our kids the first time it was going on. It was like early October. So we didn't do any of the we didn't do most of the haunted houses. We just went through like an outdoor area that was like kind of scary. And the performers, they'll take it easy on kids. Like nobody's like really trying to traumatize anybody. But like
I'd be in that job living my best life.
Yeah. So one of the things that I found was interesting was the park has a strict no costumes and no masks policy for anybody who's not an employee there, Because what they don't want is just random people pretending they're supposed to be there as performers, just scaring and grabbing and swearing at people and just like, I'm gonna fucking eat your kids. Like
that is definitely a rule that was implemented after the fact.
that's right.
Something
That's
happened to introduce that rule to the.
that was in response to an incident.
I don't know. I think if you're going to a haunted house, you should expect to be scared.
That's what I said.
So either, be scared or don't go.
Like I saw I saw other people put them on their kids, right? Like you got an 8-year-old, if you're really worried about them being traumatized, like yes, they probably shouldn't be there. But that's I guess a legitimate excuse. And there was like a kid in a wheelchair who they like put one on. I was like, I get that, but like there's a whole group of like women in their 20s who were wearing them. I'm like, maybe just don't come today. Maybe today here isn't for you.
That makes no fucking sense. So annoying. Or like if you offered it to the kids, anyone I don't know under 10 or something. I don't know what a good age is, but anybody under 10, like they can get them for free. Then that
free, drop it off on the way out. Yeah, I'm with you.
That would be acceptable. But if you're buying this $20 necklace for just not to be scared at a place where the only purpose of it is to scare you, that's so dumb.
Why bother? Yeah, no.
That's like Wifey T, her parents have a place at Deep Creek, which is right by, I can't remember the name of the fucking ski lodge or whatever there. But in the off season when there's no snow on the ground and everything, they have something called a mountain coaster.
Huh.
It's, if you think it looks like more of a modern day coaster layout with like the sort of prong's not the right word, but there's like 3 tracks.
Yeah.
And the 2 sides.
Yep.
But you're in like a little cart that you can sit in, and you just it's all just gravity driven.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, you can 1 or 2 people can get on there, and then you have control over the brake. So I don't even know what the brake does. I'll tell you that, and neither of us know. But what I do know is that Wifey's aunt definitely made about 6 people have to get a refund because she rode the brake the whole time. I mean, you know that person in traffic that when you can tell they're like already all the way into the lane.
No, yeah.
But they're scared, so they're like creeping. And it's like you're already in. Like just come over. No, and they creep, and then they sort of like cut back, and then creep in, and then cut back, and that was her coming down this mountain coaster, and it's like it sort of like slaloms back and forth.
Yeah,
and it was so sad. It looked like she was parking a car, coming around the curve, and it's just like.
Oh God! Oh, I'd be so mad.
And everyone behind her. So it looked like when there's that one slow person on the highway, and there's just like 6 of these little carts, like slowly braking behind her, and I'm like,
God,
like this. I wanted to be like, this wasn't made for you. Why are you here? Most people understand what they're into before you go to an event or to do something. Why would you do that? Why would you go to the haunted house and pay to not be scared? You might as well go to the mountain coaster and ride the brake the whole time.
Not everything's for everyone.
This world. Gaming dads would be all about that.
Is it time to Would You Rather?
I think it's about that time. I actually set up
the sands of time.
Yeah. I accidentally clicked over and confused myself because I got the video going in the background. I was like, What the fuck? I'm glad I'm still getting use out of this thing, though.
That's amazing. I wish I had a use for one of those in my life.
You never know what. I'm going to start timing my dinners with the fucking sands of time.
I wish I could do that with like some sort of like nefarious purpose. Like I wish I could like have a giant black hourglass filled with black sand and I could be like, give me the information I want by the time this goes out. And I just turn it over and I leave it in the room and I leave. Have somebody contemplate their decisions.
Like a Bond villain.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I want. I want to be a Bond villain, but themed around a black sand hourglass.
Speaking of which,
Sandman.
Your boy Idris Elba, sexiest man alive.
Yeah. Oh, really? Did they give it to him this year?
People were joking that they named him to make up for Blake Shelton last year.
Yeah, they should. They should. Fucking
Blake Shelton is like painfully white and also not attractive in any traditional sense.
I'd fuck Idris Elba. Good for him.
Good.
Today we are canceling the apocalypse. It's one of the greatest lines in movie history.
Good stuff.
I haven't seen the second one of those movies. I'm really disappointed with myself.
I haven't seen it.
Pacific Rim 2. I'm excited about that. I just haven't gotten around to it.
We'll get Tom Cruise back on. We'll talk about that. And what was the movie we were going to talk about? Batman v Superman?
World War Z. World War Z, a topic I am also passionate about. Bring Tom Cruise on at your own risk.
I'll just sit in the corner and be sad.
If he is also excited about World War Z, yeah, we strap in.
Oh no!
Not the movie, the book.
Yeah, I believe so.
The two of us will just talk about how it should be an HBO miniseries for 3 hours.
Although he has continued to watch Walking Dead despite being a fan of the comics.
Yeah, I was really surprised. Like, he's still really into The Walking Dead. I don't know anybody who's still really into The Walking Dead. Like, I knew some people who were like still begrudgingly hanging on. But he still seems genuinely excited by the whole thing, which, you know, good for him. Like, I'm glad he still finds something to put light in his soul. But
I'm glad I never read the graphic novels or comics or whatever, because it's like I don't like Walking Dead already. So if it was shitting all over something I loved, that would upset me to no end.
Oh yeah, like a slow motion version of World War Z. Like World War Z was just like one book, but then it was like 1 2-hour movie that shit on a book that I love. The Walking Dead is like a version of that drawn out for 8 years.
Is it 8 years running?
Yeah, it started in like 2010.
That show blows so many dicks. It has never been good.
It makes so much money.
It has never been good. It has arguably been bad and borderline terrible for at least half of the seasons. I mean, what? I mean, I know everybody loves zombies, but shit, like,
everybody did. I mean, we're over zombies as a culture now, right? Like that wave is past.
I'm just happy I don't have to see anybody dressed as Negan anymore.
Oh, that's a good point. That was a short wave.
Gasolcast. Shout out. Hey.
Oh man,
they've owned that shit though. That's fucking. They made it cool somehow.
Fucking good for them.
So, all right, here we go. Our favorite part on last call. Would you rather?
If we do this for an hour, we would.
Yeah, maybe we'll just do that. Every week we just meet up and read.
I don't want to make up all those questions. That sounds really hard. Believe me, I've really thought about that as a concept, and I do not have the energy to make up that volume of questions.
When we grow too tired to continue doing an hour each week, we're gonna just come and record 10 to 15 minutes of Would You Rather.
Yeah, there you go. I just know I'd just show up every week and you'd be like, what questions do you have? And we'd be like, cut off your balls or die. I don't fucking know.
Would you rather?
Kill your mom or kill your dad? Ooh.
It's so edgy. All right, here we go. Would you rather be burned on the back of the knee with a lit cigarette or stung by a bee on the eyelid?
Oh, fucking cigarette on the back of the knee.
Yeah, I'll take that all day.
Fucking easy. Yeah, no, it probably sucks and recovery might not be fun, but way better than getting fucking stung in the eyelid by a bee. Fuck that.
So I've been stung by a bee one time, and it was while riding passenger in a U-Haul truck driving down 695 through the middle of Maryland, and one flew in the window into my sleeveless shirt and stung me in the armpit.
Oh, fuck.
The only time I've been stung by a bee, it didn't happen until I was like 25. I've also been burned by a cigarette. That was can we see that?
Was that me? I hope it wasn't me.
No. See it right there?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
It looks like a what's that? It was like a vaccine or something, or treatment for like.
Oh yeah, like a polio scar. Yeah.
Yeah, it might be polio. Oh yeah, polio's back, guys.
Yeah.
Anti-vaxxers, go fuck yourself.
Did you do that? That burn to yourself? You did, didn't you?
Maybe. I turned to a friend and I was like, "Hey, want me to put this cigarette out on my arm?" He's like, "No. Why would you do that?" Yep. And I don't know. Almost 20 years later, still there.
Yep.
So there you go. Stay in school, kids. Would you rather, as a man, live with a permanent 8-inch erection or a 2-inch penis?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, 8-inch erection, right? Like you can figure
100%.
that out.
I guarantee you that I kind of want to put this as our Facebook one.
Oof.
Just because I think it would be a landslide.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a landslide, right? Like it would definitely be like inconvenient. It would definitely not be fun, but it would be way better than the alternative.
I mean, just tuck that shit in your waistband.
Right, but like all fucking day, every day, like you would definitely have like I feel like with an 8-inch erection tucked in your waistband, like you would definitely have like incidents where people saw the head of your 8-inch erect penis poking out the top of your waistband, and they go, "What the fuck?" Like that could cause problems in your personal life. Like it could be like at your in-laws' house or like at your job. You know what I mean? Or like it would fucking hurt. Like you wouldn't be able to like, I don't know, if I had like an 8-inch erect, like I can like just lean forward like this, like that'd be a problem. I'd have to like everywhere I went, I'd have to be all like fucking gangster lean back in like fucking conferences and meetings and shit like that. Be like, no, don't worry about it. That's a problem. I'd have to come up with some sort of elaborate like belt contraption. You'd have to design some sort of like dick sock to go over the head of your cock just so it didn't like appear in public.
So the one question is, does it come with the actual problems of having an erection for that long? Because I mean, they warn about that with like Viagra. I mean, there's got to be some health issues there. Like, there's
a name for that. An erection you can't get rid of. I can't remember what there's a name for it, and it's like it's bad. It's not good. I assume that those things like go away, but like it would still be like uncomfortable, right? Like driving a car, like just fucking having an erection all the time. That sounds terrible.
I mean, we feel old, but we are not old. Imagine 50 or 60 more years of just fucking pitching a tent all the time. They're rocking hard.
20 years in, you're just like, do I need the top half now? Go back to 4 inches. Like, it doesn't need a head. Like, oh, yeah. No, you're right. And I think it says a lot about like male culture that I am like, oh, yeah, fucking 40-year erection is definitely not worth not having a small dick.
Yeah, it would be totally inconvenient, probably painful, and ruin my life. Absolutely, but
I'm not even like I'm not even like 22 anymore. Like, I'm not like trying to attract a mate. Like, no, I can't have small dick. You need a fucking erection for
small dicks, bro. All right, yeah, we're on that 50 year grind.
Yeah, we're doomed as a society. Let's moving on.
Would it even know when to perform when you actually needed it?
Right.
Like, it's there, but is it there?
Put that shit on the fucking ballot, Ohio.
That's some voting we can get behind.
That'd be fun if they just put some of these like would you rathers in the middle of the ballot. That might like people might find that more fun.
That'd be hilarious. Can we make that happen? I need to talk to some politically connected people and see if we can make that.
We know some of them.
Sadly, we do. Would you rather have to eat a large mixing bowl of live maggots or some of the meat off a raw human arm?
Fucking raw human arm. Easy. It wouldn't even be that hard to convince me to eat some meat off of a human arm. Like, if it's all raw, it's raw, it's uncooked.
Right.
That's still tough, but way better than maggots.
Because I assume this large mixing bowl of maggots is also uncooked, equally chewy and not what?
Yeah, that's a nightmare. That's a complete nightmare. But if you came to me and you were like, hey, I have this like human arm that was cooked over a fire accidentally on purpose, would you like some? I'd be like,
it has to be raw.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying I'm not one of those people who's like boundary on eating human meat. Like, I don't feel like it's ethically where it should be. I don't know why that is. Like, people freak out about cannibalism. I don't really get why. Like, I'm not into it. It's not something I want to try. I'm not going to seek it out. But it also doesn't freak me out the way it does a lot of people.
I don't like people when they're alive. I certainly don't want to eat them.
Yeah, right? Oh, I see. You're anti-cannibalism because you don't want to. Yeah. No, I just like people are just another animal, man. Like, I don't like why. Like, besides the fact that I contract prions and fucking die, I don't really.
Brain will rot.
Yeah, fucking rat lung or whatever. I don't give a fuck.
Oh man, I'm mad we missed that story. We gotta make sure we get that next week.
All right, I'll put it on the list.
Would you rather? Oh, who's ready to be depressed? Who's ready for Singles Day?
Kill your mom or kill your dad.
We're only a few days away. We're a week away from Singles Day.
I did not know that was a thing.
Yeah, it's big worldwide. Not so much in America, but everywhere else.
Side note: Ohio has this bullshit, like halfway to Valentine's Day thing that they do. God damn it!
You could just say Ohio has bullshit.
It is. It's like it's called like fucking Lover's Day or something like that. Like Sweetheart's Day or something like. Yeah, it's complete bullshit. It's like this second Valentine's Day they put in like fucking September. It's bullshit.
No, Singles Day is 11/11, and it's 1/1/1/1. Like,
oh, that's the saddest shit ever.
But it was started by what's it called? Alibaba, the like huge. It's like Amazon for the world. It's the biggest e-commerce site in existence. But like it just takes big sloppy dumps all over Amazon.
They started it.
Yeah, and it's caught on around the globe, but not so much in America. But
Singles Day. Wow. All right.
but anyway, on that depressing note, would you rather discover that your perfect match, soulmate, is someone other than the person you've married and get to meet him or her, or marry someone you love but never meet your perfect match at all?
Marry someone you love and never meet your perfect match at all.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, the other one just fucking gnaws at you, right? Like the
Yeah,
one that
that's
got
going to
away.
ruin your marriage and your psyche. Ignorance is bliss, and that, fuck that, yeah.
The question is more interesting when you say, if you say something like marry, so you either meet your perfect match but don't end up with them, or you marry somebody you're compatible with but not in love with and never meet your perfect match at all. Right?
I think that's essentially what it said.
Yeah, but there's an important distinction there. Like it says the second option is to marry someone you're in love with,
Mm-hmm.
but never find out. Yeah, so you love that person. Like it's not perfect, but you love who that person is. But the first option is, what's the first option?
Discover that your perfect match is someone other than the person you've married and get to meet them.
Okay.
Singles Day.
Yeah, that question is weirdly constructed, but yeah, definitely never meet that person if you can avoid it.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
Just fuck your whole life up.
On that note, back to dicks.
Back to dicks.
Would you rather, as a man, always pee in two streams that are just wide enough to make it difficult to aim them both at the toilet at once?
Clever wording. I like this already.
Or always pee with an erection?
That is our Facebook poll, by the way. BT dubs.
There aren't going to be any good gifts to make that.
Challenge accepted.
All right. Tune in soon. This could get horrifying.
So it's a split stream just wide enough to make it challenging, or peeing with an erection. It's split stream, right?
I'd say that.
I'll have a urinal installed in my house. Like I can't, I get it, but I can't be trying to pee with an erection everywhere I go. Like that just causes all kinds of problems.
That's a skill test I am not willing to take at whenever the fuck I wake up in the afternoon.
Or you're at the bar at 10:30 at night, and you got to take your third pee, and you go into the bar, into the restroom that doesn't have really good barriers. You know what I mean? And
I'm super excited to take this piss.
There's 8 guys already in there, and there's 14 guys piled up outside of the door that's permanently open, and now you got to try and take an erection piss into this half shitty urinal, like the ones that were in the Diamondback. No, that's a nightmare. Fuck that noise.
R.I.P. Diamondback.
R.I.P. Diamondback.
God. I don't know why. That just made me think of the time that the guy squeezed off a pipe and hot loaf next to the toilet.
Oh, fucking asshole. Diamondback in their lower floor, 80s black marble bathrooms.
Yeah.
They were definitely designed for cocaine use.
Huh. Yeah. Yeah.
Designed and executed for cocaine use.
How many people did I have to fire for that?
No comment.
Ugh. Well, let me just slam dunk this one.
Take it to the camera. Nailed it.
That's not nearly as exciting.
It's not as satisfying.
Not even close. But thank you very much for tuning in each week for Last Call Podcast. We appreciate your patronage. I'm a little upset that nobody came in and told us to drink, so we took care of it on our own.
Fuck them.
So we'll see y'all next time on the next last call.
See ya.
Cheers, bitches.